Alright, people, we're back. It's been a while. Good to see you guys. Last couple UFC cards have been kind of, I don't know, man. Clay Guida taking on Gray Maynard. I wasn't really, I was actually out of town visiting family and saw that card, and I was kind of bummed out about it, to be honest with you, because, I basically talked family into watching it. There was another cousin of mine that really wanted to see it, too. I was pretty ticked, to be honest with you, but it is what it is, man. And illegalelbowradio.com. I'm mostly doing stuff with the website, on Facebook, Legal Elbow Radio on Facebook. If you want to give that a look, you can find everything, basically where I'm at. You can find that on on the homepage, illegalelbowradio.com or illegalelbow.com. So give that a look, see. And but basically, I'm just kind of throwing some stuff out there that I've been thinking of recently and kind of going over in my head recently. Tim Boesch taking on Hector Lombard. Everybody's been waiting on Hector Lombard to come here and fight. Tim Boesch broke his foot in the match, probably all the kicks and stuff like that. But Hector Lombard, it just goes to kind of prove to us if Hector Lombard can't beat Tim Boesch, which that's not a knock on Tim Boesch. I'm a fan of Tim Boesch. I like the guy. I think he's one of them guys that's really good at coming back from, facing adversity, having a hard time, and coming back from it and winning. We obviously saw that in his fight with Okami. He brutalized Okami in the third round after getting his ass kicked for 2 rounds. So, and that was, to me, that was a turning point for Tim Boesch. Man, that was awesome. Tip to you. Well, Hector Lombard coming over to UFC. Dana White said it, and I don't always agree with Dana White, but I got to agree with him on this. He said, a lot of people have been really building up Hector Lombard and stuff like that, and it could have been, debut jitters. It could have been that, I suppose, but Dana White mentioned, a lot of these guys have been really building this guy up, putting him in the top 10, stuff like that. And he's on a 25-fight win streak. He's obviously done a good job. But when he gets to UFC, he's fighting a different class of fighters. It's a lot of people out there can disagree with that and, tell people that do think that are nuts or whatever, or tell me I'm nuts for that matter. But it is what it is, man. For real. UFC's gone by a certain code where if you're not up to par, 3 strikes, you're out, pretty much. That's to a T. Some guys have gotten around that, Tito Ortiz, a couple other guys have gotten around that. For what reason, I have no idea. I don't know why Tito Ortiz was brought around that, but we don't have to worry about that anymore, though, hopefully. Hector Lombard should have done a lot better. With coming off 25-fight win streak, being known for knocking guys out. He should have done a lot better. The whole card, really. Honestly, the whole card, the prelims were better than the main card. And I say that, and it's like, I should kind of be careful how I say that, because, sometimes in a card it happens where you got top 5 fights, top 10 fights. These guys are going in there a little more nervous than they normally would because this is a top competition match, Lombard versus Boesch. That's a top competition match in the UFC right now. Same with, for the title as well. For Barao taking on Faber. Being a title contention match, these guys go in there a little nervous. I think Faber just had a hard time with the reach. Couldn't get inside. That's just key one right there, what his problem was in the match. But, overall, it wasn't that great of a card. There was lots of nice finishes. Matt Riddle had a nice fight. Standing arm triangle, trips him down into a arm triangle on the ground and finishes him. And it was a kick-ass finish, and it's... Riddle looks good these days, man. I think he looks pretty good. Yeah, he's come a long way, too. He does fight, and he fights hard, and he trains hard, and it's starting to really show. It's a pretty stale-ass card, man, and, Dana even said himself, it wasn't that great of a card. I'm a little disappointed. Renan Barão looked great, in my opinion. Renan Barão looked great. Great performance. Didn't let Uriah Faber get in close, and held him at bay. Kicking the legs, scoring a lot of those. Probably not as many as I thought he would. Or not, I shouldn't say that. Probably not as many as I think he could have. But I wasn't banking on him doing that. But that was their game plan, to go in and treat it like the Aldo fight. And just beat up his legs so that by the third round he has no offense. Which we do know that he broke his hand in that fight as well. So, talking about Faber. But Faber, so far, has... he did report a broken rib. He did have a broken rib, which sucks. But Faber will be back, and we all know Faber will be back. Like I said, Tim Bosch versus Hector Lombard. Tim Bosch, great performance. It's not a flashy win, but it's a calculated win, and game plan successful. Hector Lombard coming in here. I'm banking his next fight to be pretty explosive, because he's going to want to capitalize off of this, because that kind of sucks, man. I mean, that really does kind of suck. He comes in for his debut wanting to make, he basically called out Anderson Silva before he even fought once. So he's going to want to definitely get back into contention, which is not going to be very far down. So we'll see him back. I mean, as long as he keeps it up, and is true to what everybody believes he is. 25 fight win streak broken by Tim Bosch. Not, like I said, man, not ragging on Tim Bosch. I don't even see Tim Bosch in the area of a title shot just yet. You know what I mean? I'm not ragging on Tim Bosch. Like I said before, I'm a fan of Tim Bosch. Love watching him fight. And he's good at executing game plans. He's a smart guy. But I don't want to see him get a title shot for maybe a few more fights. He might get it sooner. Who knows? But with the broken foot, never know, man. Sean Jordan taking on Czech Congo. I hope you had your sleeping bag nearby, because that fight fucking sucked balls. I mean, it sucked balls in the eyes of somebody that wants to see a lot of action and kicking ass. These are two big guys that just were pretty well matched. Actually, they were pretty well matched, but Czech Congo obviously had the upper hand. Sean Jordan was in over his head a little bit. Hopefully, Jordan maybe will get another shot. And if he performs like that again, Dana will probably give him the slicey slice and say, you know what, hit the high road, out of here. Brian Eversole taking on James Head. It's actually a pretty cool fight. Brian Eversole game plan, you know what I mean? He's got the two hands. You guys know what I'm talking about if you watched Brian Eversole before. The two hands coming out just to kind of keep you at bay, kind of confuse you, throw you off a little bit. Like one of the hands is on your leg and one's on your, chest, whatever. Weird move, man. I've never seen anybody do it, but he does it. But nice win by James Head, man. James Head lacking in experience by a mile, compared to Eversole. James Head pulls it out, man. I thought he took the win too. You know what I mean? I think overall he just did a better job of getting in there and getting out. Not getting caught by Brian. I think I'm a fan of Brian. I like Brian. I think he's really, really good. But he was just a little off. I don't even want to say he was a little off. I think James Head looked good. He just looked good. Some of these lower guys, I'm going to go ahead and say it, man. And throw it out there. I've said it before in the past. But some of these lower guys, I don't really pay much attention to them until they get a big win or something like that. It's kind of not good on my part doing videos and shit like this. But trying to keep on what I can keep up on. Ryan Jimmo. I believe this was his debut. I don't know for sure. They say he tied for the fastest KO in UFC history. Wrong again. 4 seconds was, damn it, what's his name? Dwayne Bang Ludwig against Jonathan Goulet, son of Robert Goulet. Not really, but I'm just kidding. And I swear UFC's already mentioned it too, that it's the official shortest knockout in UFC history is Dwayne Bang Ludwig. But again, they come back and they say, "Oh, Ryan Jimmo, 7-second knockout. You tied for first place." I don't know what was going on with Anthony Perosh, however they say it. They say it 9 different ways in the last year. So I'm going to start with what they started with, Anthony Parash. Parash didn't do anything in the fight. He didn't even have a chance to. Jimmo came in, one punch, he went down, was glassy-eyed, and he just one more punch, and ref stepped in. It was a justified stoppage, too. I mean, definitely. Carvello taking on Daniel Pineda. I was kind of leaning towards a Pineda in this, because he's good experience, solid fighter. Carvello, though, slick, man, looked really good, caught Daniel, and the first round, man, I mean, like I said, man, the prelims were actually better than the main card, but every now and then that happens. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't happy with it. It fucking sucked. I paid $44.95. I went for the SD rather than the HD because I knew, I'm not doing no more high def with UFC anymore. I'm not paying the extra $10 in case it sucks. Because there's the last couple cards that, whether I paid for them, it was a friend. Start making decisions on fights that I really want to see, rather than just going ahead and buying every card. I think you guys should do that too, man. UFC needs to start knowing. I thought this way when I saw the Clay Guida Maynard card. I thought, you know what? These guys are starting to really put too many cards on FX and Fuel TV. They're starting to put too many cards on there when they could be having bigger pay-per-views. And what they're trying to spread everything out over the whole thing with free fights on FX and free fights on Fuel, and then still some good pay-per-views. The pay-per-views are starting to suffer, and it's not cool. It's really not cool because we're paying, you guys know, we're paying either $45 or $55. And if the pay-per-views are going to suffer, I'll just watch all your free cards and stop paying for your pay-per-views if they're going to suffer. I'll get the news tomorrow. I'll see it somehow. I'll see it sooner or later. But anyway, man, I just checking in, man. And until next time, a Bud Light to all you. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, man. Like I said, illegalelbowradio.com, illegalelbow.com, Legal Elbow Radio on Facebook, all that good stuff. MMA Aftermath Facebook. We're on Ustream, Illegal Elbow on Ustream. So check that out. And I'll see you next time, man. Take care, guys.